Jessie, I'm so excited to meet you.
I'm
I,
excited to meet you too.
I, for whatever reason, I would not have imagined you looking like this. I don't know why I had a different. Is it because you have a different picture on Facebook?
I do. I keep my hair tends to be whatever mood I feel in the moment. I've had it long. I've had it short.
And I think
I've,
I would never recognize you if I see you on the street. I would like you would be a complete stranger to me, and I've talked to you like a dozen times probably.
it's that veil of the internet, right?
Amazing. Yeah, it's a veil of the internet, and also like I feel like we know each other's thoughts and what's happening and this and that. But how we know each other in the real world or like the conventional world is when you meet people, and then I feel that unfortunately doesn't happen often. And
oh no, especially not now.
Not now. And I feel like this, like what we are doing right now, is one way for me also to connect to our people.
For sure.
So
I'm excited to be a part of this.
Thank you, Jessie. Thank you very much for being here. Really,
thanks for inviting me.
And sorry for the change in schedule and all of that.
That's okay.
I wanted to get a nicer, better microphone because of
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because last week what we recorded was my sound was not there.
That's trial and error.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of get a new microphone, just try something new. If it didn't work,
yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah, well, you sound great.
Okay, awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Jessie, tell us, like, if somebody were to first meet you, like right now, if somebody seeing you right now, who are you? What's your life story? How would you introduce yourself to somebody who sees you at a Starbucks and say, hey, I would like to be your friend. You seem like a cool person. What would you tell them about you?
Well, I'm pretty obviously pregnant right now. I'm almost 7.5 months along right now. So that's probably the first thing people are noticing about me right now. Okay. I'm pretty petite and I'm all belly right now. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom through and through. So I've pretty much always got my son with me, and he's almost 4 and very high energy. So I'm probably chasing that little one wherever I am, especially if we're inside a Starbucks. He's probably picking out a cake pop. And my first job right out of high school was a Starbucks. So I'm probably getting myself something highly caffeinated. But I don't know. I'm pretty down to earth. I'm pretty straightforward. I love to talk to people. I've been in a lot of, I grew up in the farmer's market community. My mom had her own booth. She used to make wooden boxes and jewelry. And I grew up literally going to 2 different farmer's markets with her every single week. And
wow.
I wasn't allowed to be shy. I was forced to go out and interact with people and just talk. And that has resonated well with me. And I just enjoy humans. I enjoy the human element. I'm a bit of a homebody. I do like to keep to myself. I have, we all have our own internal stuff going on. So I just like to, I like to watch people. People watching is one of my favorite things to do.
I love that. I would go as when I came to Canada as a 19-year-old after leaving my family back in India. Not leaving my family, I'm making it sound like I went on a voyage or something. I came to study over here, but I had no family over here. And what I would go do is I would go to Eaton Center, which is like a mall in downtown Toronto, where my university was, and I would just sit there, just looking at people, like thinking of what's going on in their life. I'm making up stories in my head and just entertaining myself.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
But now I don't have the time, but I still do that sometimes, and it's fun. Jessie, you were talking to me about going to farmers market with your mom, and I know you. I know you. I know your story, a little bit of it, obviously not everything, and that's why we're here. But I knew you were very close to your mom.
It was.
Tell us a little bit about Pat. Tell us who she was and why she was special.
So I'm the youngest of 3, and I was also I was not planned. So I was born a lot I'm 7 and 9 years younger than my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom had worked through both kids with my brother and sister, and when she had me, she decided that she wanted to finally try stay-at-home mom. So I
Okay.
had the benefit of having her 24/7 when I was little, and it was pretty much just me because my siblings were already in school. So I was her. She used to call me her partner in crime. I'd go everywhere she went.
Okay.
She loved thrift shopping, and then she was very artistic, so she was constantly coming up with new things, and I was always kind of along for the ride. When I was, like, as I said, when I was 4, she self-taught herself how to do woodworking, which was when she was
Okay.
in school, she wasn't allowed to. She went to the woodworking teacher and said, I would love to learn the woodcraft. And she was told, well, you're a girl, so you can go to home ec. And so she, for many years, secretly wanted to do those things, and finally started with a steak knife and pieces of wood, was carving things out. And then little by little, my dad started buying her scroll saws and band saws, and she just taught herself how to do everything. And she made these amazing swivel boxes. She made earrings, and she got in. Someone told her, you should be selling these at the farmers market at craft fairs. So we
Wow.
started getting into, and I'm very fortunate here in Bellingham, Washington. We have a huge crafters community.
Right.
So we started going and signing up for every single fair that was out there. And so I was, again, just in tow with her while she was doing all these things. And she, for many, many years, from the age of 6 until I was almost 18, was doing all these markets and craft fairs. And I was like along for the ride. And we did holiday markets and stuff like that. I got to know a lot of the amazing crafters in the community. And we still had mother-daughter struggles. So sometime in my teens, it wasn't very cool for me to do the farmers markets
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
can
with her
imagine.
anymore. And I kind of drifted out of it. And ironically enough, my dad always had a stable, he was able to support our whole family and
Right.
support her following her dreams. And at one point when I was in high school, he got laid off from a job, and we kind of scrambled, and it was just the 3 of us living at home. My brother and sister were already out of the house. I started an eBay business with my dad because
Okay.
he is a music memorabilia guy, and we started realizing that he had all these old albums and concert programs that were worth money, and he was also a chef, so he had old cookware and stuff and cookbooks that were worth money. And so I started this business with him, and then she was like, well, we're making money, I got to get on this too. So I taught her how to use a computer, I taught her how to
Wow.
use a digital camera, and she took over the business. And so up until when she passed, she was running this eBay business, and that was supplementing basically their entire income for many years. My dad did end up getting back into work, but she was so everything she did, she was self-taught, or she always called me her tech support person. And so she did all this, and I mean, they are a
Wow.
5-star rated eBay seller. They have over 15,000 sales. I mean, they
Shut
do.
up.
My parents' house is the eBay house now. One room is boxes and packing material. There's another room that's their entire eBay inventory. And when
Wow.
I say metro shelves upon metro shelves, thousands of mugs and cookware and
Wow.
books. And they each kind of had their own niche thing that they like to sell, but my dad's obviously since taken over the business for her. And so that was her passion. She was an identical twin. She
Okay.
was always told that she had a heart murmur, and she found out just a few years before she passed that it wasn't a heart murmur. She was actually born missing a heart valve. So
Huh?
she went, and she lived her whole life
Not knowing
pretty
this.
healthy, yet, and had no issues until she was in her 50s. So she did end up having open heart surgery. 2012,
Okay.
2013, she had open heart surgery and had a replacement valve put in. And then a couple of years later, my dad actually suffered a catastrophic heart attack and ended up having to have a triple bypass himself. So
Okay.
they had matching scars, they had
Oh,
matching
wow.
surgeries. They give you a heart-shaped pillow when you get heart surgery at the hospital they went to, so they had their matching pillows and whatnot. So she, unfortunately, she never fully recovered from her surgery,
Okay.
and that was ultimately, as far as we understand, what led to her she had a brain aneurysm in 2019, and she unfortunately passed. But we were very fortunate because
Can you
in
give me
2019,
what's her full name? What's her full name?
Patricia Joanne Carey was her maiden name, but she was a bishop. That was my maiden name as well. And then her identical twin is Pamela Jean.
So
She,
Patricia Bishop was her name, and she
yeah,
and as what I heard from you, she went by Pat, right?
yeah, she was Pat. She never Patty. She'd
Never
go by
Patty.
Patricia, but if you knew her, she was Pat.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would she correct people and say like, hey, like call me Pat?
Call me Pat. Yeah, she liked to be called Pat for sure. And it's funny because my aunt, her identical twin, is Pamela, and she doesn't like to be called Pam. She's Pamela. But
Okay.
neither one of them go by. They never went by Patty or Pammy. That was not a thing that they were fond of. I think only my grandma was allowed to use those types of nicknames with
Oh
them.
my God, I
My
love
grandma didn't
that.
know that she was having two until my aunt started coming out. So this was back in 1955.
Oh my
My grandma
God.
she was out to hear. They thought she was having a very big boy. They were laying one on top of the other, so they couldn't hear two heartbeats. They were only hearing one heartbeat. And literally in the delivery room, the doctor said, "All right, get ready for the next one." And my grandma famously said, "What next one?" And brought out to my grandpa two identical
Beautiful
twin
girls.
girls. Yeah.
Wow. Now, so now, Jessie, tell me what, like, in 2019, your mom passed away, and
Mm-hmm.
last year we ended up naming our color purple, Pat's
Mm-hmm.
purple. For
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't know how that happened, if you whatever you remember of it, I know bits and pieces, I know the thing, but I
Mm-hmm.
want to know it from your perspective.
So if you knew anything about my mom, it was that purple was her favorite color. She would, if she had the option, she would dress head to toe in purple every single day. She always talked about when she was an old lady, she'd eventually be one of those ladies who dyed her hair purple.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I would have paid money to watch that.
she would have been very excited to do so. She was committed to the color for sure. You couldn't get her to buy an article of clothing in any other color. She hated
Oh my
certain
God.
colors. I grew up with her trying to dress me only in purple, and as much as I love the color now, especially because it's near and dear to my heart, I used to kind of stray away from it. But when she saw that you guys had the purple diaper, she was like, "Oh, you got to get it. You have to get purple diaper. Of course, you have to have the purple diaper." And any diaper that had any color purple in it was obviously important and special to her. And that particular shade of purple that you guys call Pat's purple was her favorite shade. And so shortly after she passed, I had my son in that diaper, and it was just one of those, like, I put him in it. I washed it a little more frequently so I could put him in it a little more often so I could put him in it and remind myself of her. And I, because I'm an ambassador to Little Helper, I posted in the group about it, and I posted a picture of him, and I just let you guys know. I kind of bared my soul and let you guys know how special it is to me to just have those little reminders in such a subtle, simple way of, who she was and how she connected, because she cloth diapered my siblings. She didn't with me, but she always said, it's something, she thought that your guys' diapers were so cool because she came from the old, safety pin pre-folds and everything. And she was
Right.
just blown away by how the technology, she always said that child rearing was so much easier for me than it ever was for her because of the way technology and all the
Absolutely.
everything that's out there now. And
Right.
so she thought that the diapers were just the coolest thing. And she was very supportive of my cloth diapering journey. And that's something I tell people, that if they ask me, what's the one thing I need to know about cloth diapering, it's having a support system helps, because having
Great.
people
Yeah.
around you that also think it's great that you're doing it and are interested in what you're doing
Wow.
really helps. And so we actually, in 2019, we came on some hard times and we moved back in with my parents.
Right.
And so she was right there with me. She was trying to learn how to do the snaps herself. She was slowly learning how to do the laundry and stuff for me, and knew the importance of hang drying. And she had gotten very used to me covering their whole front dinner table with diapers when they were drying out flat, and showing off the difference. I could pick out which print should I use today, and she loved to help me out with that. So she was just really very supportive of it, and we connected in that regard too. We became very close in the final years before she passed, because I had just become a mother, and that's always been my dream role. She found me when I was 6 years old with a pillow shoved up underneath my shirt pretending to be a mommy. So she knew I was kind of in my bread
Right.
and butter when I finally had our son, and we most connected over being moms
And so now,
together.
who contacted you, kind of, about about your love of, when after you shared your story about how purple was your mom's favorite color, and how
Mm-hmm.
how it reminds you of her, and when you were bearing your soul, what happened after that?
I got a message from your wife, Sophia,
Yes.
and she kind of, it was almost like she was making the decision while she was writing me the message. She said she really resonated with what I had said, and that she was having this idea bubbling up in her head, and she had had some inspiration, and she was thinking about renaming the diaper. And she said, I think I need to talk to mom. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to make the executive decision. We're going to rename that diaper, and I think we want to rename it after her. And I was just dumbfounded. It had only been a couple of months since she passed, and I couldn't imagine a better way to
Wow.
honor her. She would go nuts. I mean, I could hear her in my mind going, "Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing! It's going to be named after me. Are you kidding?" She would have just been
Wow.
thrilled. She would have thought this was the coolest thing. And then when I told Sophia her name was Pat, and she was like, "Well, Pat's purple. It's meant to be." And
Wow.
the rest of the story from there, you did something pretty amazing, and you announced it on International Women's Day last year. And that was something that was a big deal to her too, because as you know, she as a woman had been met with many barriers and had been told no many times because she was a woman. And she was a big advocate for women can do anything that a man can do, if not a little bit better.
I,
And
I am living proof. My little helper is living proof of that statement. I'm going to come back to that and tell you why I feel women can do anything and do it better as well. But I want to finish with this. And after we named it Pat's Purple, I'm like, wow, what a beautiful story. Like now this diaper, and I was saying, Sophie, like, thank you for giving it life.
it really did.
Thank you for giving this lifeless thing a soul. It reminds me of somebody now. It reminds me of somebody I've never met. And it is that I feel is an amazing thing. Pat, like you when you describe Pat, what an honor for a business like ours to use her memory and her name for something like this that also gives so much joy to other people. If you
I've had
think
so many people reach out to me, and ambassadors and other little helper users that maybe they've lost their mom, or purple's their favorite color, or they maybe have strained relationships with their parents or whatever, because it's brought them to a certain place, and it's reminding them of something, and how special. I mean, you guys as a company are, for one. I think that's resonated with a lot of people, but it's the shared experience. And
amazing.
most of us are going to lose our parents at some point in our life,
Oh my God.
and it's amazing how many people have been willing to bare their souls to me and just tell me how grateful they are that I was able to put myself out there that way and talk about her
And these
loss
are the
and talk about what it
connections,
meant.
Jesse, these are the connections that you made on Unsnapped, on Little Helper
Unsnapped and in
Unsnapped.
ambassadors.
Wow.
I'm always I scroll through every morning, and if anyone shares anything with her diaper in it, I super like it. I love it. And I've had people reach out to me and go, are you that Jessie? And I'm, yeah,
Are you
that's
that
me. That
as
was my
purple
mom.
Jesse?
Or people that have no idea, and I'll say, my mom would have loved this, and they'll go, your mom was Pat, and I go, yeah, that was mine. It's almost like she's a famous person, and she's famous in the little helper community. It made a huge difference. It meant a lot to my family. It's something that we've all talked about. My dad he's a kind of reclusive, quiet guy, but
Yeah.
he suddenly cares about these diapers, which
Oh my
he's not a
God.
guy who would care about diapers, but it's because he knows how special her color was, and
Oh
purple. And
my
we
God.
all get everything purple now because of her, and find ourselves drifting towards things of the
Jesse,
purple shade.
I really, what a privilege it is to be able to do this. What a privilege it is on our end that we could do this. Oh
I
my
feel
God.
privileged.
I feel like I'm like, I always tell people when I'm meeting them in our community, people, I won a lottery. This is a lottery that I have won. I don't know what, like, how else could this have happened? I don't think I was capable, or any of my team members were also capable of doing this. But this happened organically, and it just turning out, it blows my mind.
It was really meant to be.
Yeah, I feel it. Like and the weird part is that we never give our colors some fancy names. Because I don't like names, I'm like, I need names to be, it's a green, this is a dark green, this is a light green.
Mm-hmm.
This is a blue, this is a dark blue, this is a light blue. Don't call it fancy names, because I will have to remember stuff, and I don't like remembering things. So
the same.
And when Pat's Purple, like, why isn't every purple called Pat's Purple? It's like such an easy name, and it just had to.
She would agree with you.
She would agree with you. Yeah. Jessie, with you expecting your second baby, you're 7.5 months, so you're literally due in a month to 1.5 months. Are you going to be using the same diapers that you used for your son 4 years ago, or are you going to get new diapers, little helper diapers? What are you doing? Are you getting new little other brands? What's going on?
I'm a little helper diehard. When we first found out I was pregnant with my husband said, we should cloth diaper, and that came out of left field. I was cloth diapering. I don't know about cloth diapering.
Was Brandon's idea?
It was Brandon's idea. And he was like, why wouldn't we? Let's give it a shot. It's healthier. We were trying, first time parents, you want to do everything as clean and healthy, and you want to be gentle and soft on your sweet little newborn. And so that was what he had suggested. And my sister-in-law at our baby shower gifted us a lot of used cloth diapers that she had gotten from a thrift store. Okay. And so we were immediately inundated with tons and tons, and I had all sorts of different brands, and it was really overwhelming. And I tried it with him, but it wasn't clicking. And then one day I had a Facebook ad pop up for Little Helper, and it was the God forbid guarantee. And we, my firstborn, and actually this one as well, are both rainbow babies. And I immediately was like, wow, what a great company, and what a great, business model to be willing to, because it happens. And there are instances where unfortunately, your little one doesn't make it to your arms, and we'd experienced that ourselves. And so I immediately went and I ordered the trial diaper, because I was also sick of shoving the inserts inside of the pockets and pulling the nasty inserts out. And it was no fun. I was tired of washing them. And then I got the green was the first diaper I got, and I'm picking oh my gosh, these inserts, I don't have to reach in. And I thought it was the coolest thing. Everything about them seemed easier. And then when we fell on hard times, you guys actually, I was approved for the Baby Do Better program. And so, I'm a walking, talking example of all of the different models of business that you guys use, because you helped me out so much. And when I was approved for the program, I immediately went out and I switched completely over to Little Helper.
Okay, so tell me what the Baby Do Better program does, because a lot of people don't even know about it.
Yeah, so at the time,
don't talk about it, Jessie, if you're not comfortable. About whatever you're comfortable about.
Life happens, right? Okay. Our finances change. At the time, it was still the Baby Do Good program, and you guys were donating diapers to other countries. And one of the points that you made was,
you're donating diapers. We couldn't find people to take the donation diapers.
Exactly, and people weren't, I think something had mentioned that you had a lot of diapers that were sitting on the shelf because people didn't have the proper washing instructions and whatnot. And so it was right at the time when you were switching over to Baby Do Better. Right. And we couldn't afford diapers. We were nickel and diming those disposables whenever we could afford a pack. That's when we were getting them.
What happened to the cloth diapers that you have gotten from the thrift store? What happened to those?
I didn't like them.
Most of them were just a bunch of different brands and companies and things and that. Yeah, and were they good brands? Or you don't name the brands, but
there were a couple of the bigger name brands that a lot of people have probably tried that I preferred some over the others. They were cute prints, and that was the big thing, is I loved how they looked over disposables. But a lot of them were, because they had been gifted used, they were already delaminated or were having issues. They weren't absorbing properly. So I also wanted the experience of knowing what it was like to start with brand new diapers. Right. And so that was part of what prompted me to apply for the Baby Do Better program, was because I wanted my own stash of new diapers. And I had so fallen in love with my one trial diaper of Little Helper because it was so different than all the other cloth diapers that I had. And so that was what drove me to apply for the program. And when I was approved, I immediately ordered, I believe 2 day packs right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And just slowly, I had another friend actually and it was very fortunate. I had another friend who was interested in cloth diapering at the time. So I went through and I gifted her my stash of the old used diapers.
Okay.
And I was very clear with her, they're not my favorite. I would highly recommend Little Helper instead. And a lot of these aren't in great shape, and you may ultimately end up tossing them because of where they're at. They're probably at the 5th or 6th or 7th kid that they've been on at this point.
Right.
So I was able to gift that whole stash to someone else. I understand that she gifted that stash forward. So those diapers have since had a long lifetime too, and that's the beauty of cloth diapers, that you can, if they're in good shape, you can.
Even the crappy diapers, cloth diapers that don't really work and are not convenient, are still helping save so many disposables from going into the landfill. So even that, the stuff that doesn't work still works.
Yeah, it's still better than garbage. What is essentially literally garbage at the end of the day.
Disposables are garbage. So you got your the Baby Do Better diapers at a subsidized rate from what we were selling because somebody from the company reached out to you. You obviously applied. Somebody reached out to you and then confirmed that, hey, you really need the diapers. Obviously, we didn't ask for any proof. We take your word for it. And was that your experience as well, or was it different?
Absolutely, yeah. And I was as honest as I could be. We were right on the cusp of looking into needing food stamps. That was the same year that we moved in with my parents. So it all kind of culminated. Babies are expensive. We were brand new parents, and they tell you that the money hemorrhages, but boy, it hemorrhages. Especially with the disposables, that was the biggest expense that we were experiencing. And that was part of why I told my husband, Brandon, we need to apply for this program because we may need to have this bigger expense up front, but we're not going to be just buying disposables every 2 weeks going forward. And he goes, you tell me I don't need to keep buying diapers. I'm sold.
And when we approved you for the Baby Do Better program, we didn't know you. You had just bought one trial diaper from us.
Yeah. I had just joined the ambassador program because I just thought it was really cool. I had literally just been approved, and I believe it was through the ambassador Facebook page that I learned about the Baby Do Better program. Right. And so that was where I opted to apply.
Did you receive brand new diapers in your Baby Do Better program?
I did, yeah. So they were day packs that I received. I immediately ordered 2 day packs right off the bat. So I had, between the one I had received, and I had a couple family members that had bought some for me, I was sitting at about 15 or 20 diapers by the time we moved in with my parents.
Wow. And did that give you security, Jessie, when you were going through a rough time, knowing that I don't at least have that freaking $50 worth of expense of buying literally garbage that you're going to throw away next week?
Totally, yeah. Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, but aren't you spending more in water usage and laundry detergent and whatnot?" And it's not even close. It's not even close. Yeah, especially if you're buying, most families are buying their laundry detergent from places like Sam's Club and Costco. So we had big things of laundry detergent. Exactly. That was never an issue. And you guys make it easy, and you recommend Tide, and that's what most people end up using. Yeah, I didn't need cloth, because I was thinking I needed to use this expensive, fancy cloth diaper specific or child specific laundry detergent, but I was able to use the exact same detergent we were already using. I was able to use the pre-existing washer and dryer that we were using. I was able to, I learned actually how great hang drying and line drying your clothing is, and now I do it with a lot of clothing because it seems to keep everything higher quality. Yes. Stuff doesn't fall apart as quickly.
Absolutely.
It made a huge difference. It took a lot of stress off of our plate.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy because that was the intention of the Baby Do Better program, to help people who were at a station in life where they needed somebody to come and say, hey, I'm going to take care of a few things.
Life happens. It seriously does. I mean, I think the pandemic has been a great example of that. So many people have been laid off. This was way before the pandemic even started. So, it was just one of those, we were in a situation where we weren't stable, and we needed just a little extra assistance to get us through. And, between being able to get the diapers from you guys, being able to move in with my parents, we were able to get back on our feet and get back into a
And
stable place.
how do you feel? Where is your station in life right now compared to 3 or 4 years ago?
We're in a much better position. And my husband's he still works for the same company, but he's doing better. He's got in a different position. He makes more. We are financially sound now. And I tell everybody I know especially on, like on Snapped, I'll see people that'll go, how do you afford these diapers? We're especially right now during the pandemic, my husband just got laid off. I can't afford it. I tell everyone, you need to look into the Baby Do Better program.
Thank you very much.
You don't know if you'll get approved, and if you get approved, it could really make a huge difference for you.
I'll tell you that we have, again, the people that you speak to, like Katrina, people like Katrina, or Des or Ariel or anybody. Katrina, I had to stop her. That Katrina would say sometimes that the Baby Do Better program really doesn't take that much time to approve something, but even if it did, she's like, I'm buying it for them right now, and if the Baby Do Better, Katrina, you can't buy things for people. We will do it through the Baby Do. They are that kind of people that they will buy it for our customers.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed to have found these people. Firstly, just I can see that love in their heart, and it allows me to do better for the company and for you guys, our patrons. I'm so happy that this was actually the Baby Do Better program. And this was one of the reasons, I'll tell you why we stopped the Baby Do Good program. One of the main reasons were the people who were getting the diapers for free. We would never hear back from them. I would never hear their story.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. I needed to give proof to other paying customers that we are sending these out. But unfortunately, we never heard back. We were just sending them to a void. And I have no idea. My hypothesis is when somebody gets something for free, I feel they think it's almost charity. And maybe they feel a sense of shame. Again, I have no idea. This is my hypothesis. But when somebody like you got the product at a discount, and you know that, hey, this is a subsidized rate, you have a sense of ownership. There's a sense of pride that I needed help and I got it and I'm fine with it, but there's a sense of ownership. There's no free.
There's a lot of stigma, I think, around asking for help and receiving help. And that same person actually that I gifted my previously used diapers to, we talked a lot because she was on food stamps, and she told me how ashamed she would be to go into the grocery store and make her purchase with her food. Yeah, exactly. And that was something I'd never personally experienced before. I'd always pretty much been in a stable place in my life. My dad did a great job taking care of us growing up. And, even at a time when he was laid off, we figured out how to make income with our eBay business. So I had never really struggled like that before. And seeing so many people that were so afraid to ask for help and were so ashamed, even when they were given help, to mention that they had been given that help.
Could we have done it? Could we have made your interaction during the Baby Do Better when you were applying, when you got it? Did you feel that you were taken care of, or like a regular customer, a little helper, regular customer, or did you feel less than in any way? Did we make you feel less than in any way? I'm just asking for feedback, actually.
If anything, I was shocked that I was approved because you guys didn't ask for a lot of information, and I was ready. I had pay stubs and everything ready because I had gone through the process of asking for other things and asking for other assistance, and it's very common that they want you to go back 15 years in your history and to prove that you needed help. And you guys never stigmatized me. You never made me feel like I was less than. You just made me feel like, you know what, you need these diapers too. You deserve these diapers too. And that you guys understood how it benefited me to be able to get the diapers at a subsidized price and to be able to get them brand new and to be able to get as many as I needed up front, because you're not going to be able to start a cloth diaper journey with 1 or 2 diapers. You do need enough for a few days at a time. You need enough for 3 days between wash time, and kids just blitz through those diapers. And they just burn through them. And so being able to get that assistance without ever feeling like you were throwing me a bone. I never felt like I was being thrown a bone. I just felt like I was being given, it was like I was getting a special discount, a special rate that was just for me. And I'm a thrifter. I love to get, who doesn't love a good deal, right?
Right.
And so that's what it really felt like, was I had been approved for a very special deal.
Fantastic, because that's how we want people to kind of think of it as well. We don't want it to make it look like charity.
Yeah.
You are, and we recognize that I have been through rough times where I had to drive. I drove once to get $40 or $50 from my partner Nader, because I knew if I didn't have that in the bank, my check would bounce for my rent tomorrow. And this was 6 years ago, 8 years ago. 7 years ago, yeah. So
we shouldn't be ashamed to talk about that. We shouldn't be ashamed to admit that, we've had overdrafts and we've struggled to scrape together rent. And I mean, rent is outrageous right now, and it's hard. I mean, we don't own a home right now. It's a really difficult time to even own a home. Right, and there's just those little things that are out there to help us get to those points and get to a place of stability. There shouldn't be shame involved. There shouldn't be stigma involved in taking the assistance when it's out there for you. I
hope, and Jessie, if you have feedback for that, I want to hear that feedback. And I want to hear the critical feedback as well, because this is how we make it better.
Yeah.
Please do.
No, I never felt stigmatized by Little Helper. I always felt like I was so excited when I got approved. I called my mom up and was like, I get to get more diapers. I was so excited. And I actually had someone, now that I think about it, I had someone in the ambassador group that gifted me. That's why I was able to get the second of my 3 day packs. Someone gifted me the money to buy one of the day packs. She sent me a Little Helper gift. Because I posted, I'm so excited I got approved for the program. This community is so amazing, Mohammed. I know, but I have had so many people that have just, out of the kindness of their hearts, have sent me. I've been sent bibs before because someone had an extra, and that United States Canada divide, we don't cross ship because it's so expensive. So I've had people in the United States just send me stuff because, well, I don't want this print. Do you want it? And people just send each other stuff. And we put candy and things.
Out of the kindness of their heart. There's no exchange of money.
This community is amazing. It really is. It's full of good people. It's full of good parents, and we all understand. And I think that's a big part of the cloth diapering, is a lot of us got into it because we were sick of watching money just go down the drain with disposables. And when you start seeing that, like, I could just wash and reuse this diaper, wow. I can wash and reuse this insert, and I don't need to worry about having $50 next week to pay for another box of diapers, because all I need to do is do the laundry, and I've got what I need. And that's one of the biggest expenses and one of the biggest worries that people have about babies, is being able to keep a diaper on their bum.
And so, Jessie, now you are going to use the same diapers that you got 4 years ago on your new baby.
Yeah. Now I'm having a girl, and I already have a boy, so I had to get some new prints, obviously, and I've gotten myself a pink already. I mean, that's what I felt like when I got the news that it was a girl. I went, well, gosh, I guess I'm just going to have to get more diapers because I don't have all the pinks and purples.
I'm sure, Jessie, you were very stressed out buying the new diapers. I'm sure.
It's been rough. It's been real rough.
I hope you take some time out and rehab yourself and get the energy you need, because obviously. Yeah, very funny. Jessie, is there anything else any kind of feedback that you want to give us in terms of what can we do better? Is there anything that Little Helper as a company can do better? And I'm not asking you, I'm genuinely asking you because I want to take this opportunity and see if there's some changes I can make here and there, or not, even if it's not me, my team. Anything that top of mind.
You guys are so on top of it. I mean, even when the website's having issues, which I know the website is your greatest struggle right now, because it's
fixed. Constant. Did you see the new website?
Yeah, I know the website now is fantastic, and that's what I'm saying is you guys fix everything. You take feedback. I've never seen a company that takes feedback the way you guys do and runs with it. People suggest new products, and it's half the time I'm like, they're not going to make that. They're not going to do that. And then all of a sudden there's smockets, and there's beach towels, and there's sheets, and there's bigger lifesaver mats, and and you listen to people's ideas about prints and trims, and the way you take feedback and you listen to what people want and what people are asking for is so outside the norm of what most companies do, and that doesn't make any sense, right? Because we're the consumers.
Right.
And that's something that's always been really refreshing, this community of people that can come in and go, man, I wish there was a snap on this. And you come back and go, well, let's see how we can make that happen.
Right.
And then suddenly that's what's out there. And there have been so many, in the short 3-4 years that I've been a Little Helper customer, I've watched the dynamic and I've watched products change and improve so much. And that's a constant. And I think that's, my feedback would be to continue doing that.
Awesome.
And continue listening to us, because it's working. You're creating multiple products that people use and use in different ways. And just being heard as a consumer is
that is one thing that Jessie, I don't look at you guys as consumers. I look at you as these people who are engaged with what we are doing. They're using our product, they're giving us their hard-earned money, and they're giving us feedback on how to make things better. I would be stupid if I didn't listen to these people.
But there's so many companies out there that don't.
And it blows my mind.
That's it's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. Like, why wouldn't you listen to these? These are smart people, these guys.
We're moms.
Yeah.
We trial and error. We're up at 2 a.m. going, man, I wish I could do this. And then we're on Facebook telling you.
I hope you know that if there's an zombie apocalypse, I am surrounding myself with a bunch of moms. Okay, I keep myself in the middle. I have a bunch of moms around me, and we kind of go through the zombie apocalypse as a group. I don't know what other service I could provide. I could sing songs in the night. I could, I don't know, but the moms are keeping me safe. I know that. So I'm like,
it's the problem solving. Yeah.
I'm like, these people are giving you feedback. Why aren't you listening? And I'm going out of my way. Can you tell me something so I can make this better? Because I think this can be made better. Everything can be made better.
Absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing too, is you've never put a cap on anything.
Yeah.
You always know that there's room for improvement and that nothing's done. That's a big thing, because, and I always thought it was the funniest. I mean, when I first joined the Little Helper groups and unsnapped and ambassadors, and I'm going, he can't really be the CEO. He's sitting on Facebook all day long, responding to us and commenting and laughing along with our jokes and our memes, and Sophia's there and she's responding to people and having just a whole community of the Little Helper. We just like you said, we're all a team. We know who's really working for the company and who's in charge, but we all feel like our feedback matters. And I think that's the big thing too, is no one feels afraid to say, I wish you guys would do this, because 99.99% of the time you personally respond and say, let's figure out how we can make that happen.
Amazing.
And then it happens.
And I intend to do this for the long run, because I love what I'm doing. You can, I tell my team, the only way I am stopping, and I will let you stop, if all of us are dead. We can't stop.
Kids are always gonna need diapers. We're always going to need certain things. There's always going to be constants in life, and we're at a point too where our planet is dying, and we're talking a lot about how we can impact our environment and do more to protect what we have here for our kids, for their future. And this is something that is tangible, to be able to use cloth diapers over disposables. It's a tangible thing that you can do.
And everything that we make kind of serves that purpose, where you can replace some disposable or cheap or low quality product that will need replacement very, very soon. By using our product, you don't need everything that we make. I feel like kind of is so high quality, and I feel sometimes over-engineered to the point that you can use it for years and years. And after that point, I'm sure after the 4-year-old diapers that you're going to use for your next child, even after the next 2 years of using them, you can still sell them for half the price at least.
That's what we've talked about, is if we don't end up having more kids, is how can these diapers benefit someone else? And I'm remiss. I've thought about selling them, but because of everything that Lil Helper has done for me, I want to gift them forward when I can.
Beautiful, Jessie.
So if I could save them and give them to my kids so that they can use them for their kids, that's a possibility.
Wow.
And they'll be usable. I'll store them away, and I do wholeheartedly believe that 25 years from now, when my kids having kids, that I can pull these diapers out and say, hey, look, I put these on your bum when you were little. You can put them on my grandkids now.
Let's say I'll be around to hear that story. I'll be old. I'll be decrepit.
We'll have the same chat again.
Yes, we'll have the same chat in 25 years.
We'll look a little different, but
I intend to have silvery hair, or at least have the money to afford good implants with silvery hair. Okay.
I've got the grays coming in. I think that's just what kids do to you.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep that on. And 25 years from now, I'm going to put it on my Google Calendar. See you in 25 years.
Revisit. Got it.
But before I let you go, I want to show you this one thing that we are working on. This is the book that we are going to send out with all our pre-orders as a thank you for waiting. And one of my hopes was to get into, let Lil Helper make educational material. And this is our foray into that. This took us 1.5, 2 years. And I wanted to kind of just show it to you because we are on the call. So very, very excited about this. This is a little story about Sammy. Sammy won't sleep, and it's like this kid who will not sleep, and the parents do all kind of stuff till they take them to space and blah, blah, blah. And then they come back, and two aerospace engineers figure out a cloth diaper for them. It's just a funny thing. It's fun. And Jessie, I'm going to make sure that you get one as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so happy, Jessie, that you took the time out to do this. Sorry for the change. I'm really, really happy. Who's the kitty at the back?
This is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
She wouldn't have made it through the whole video without popping in at some point and making herself.
I'm surprised. I'm looking for Lola, and I think my door is closed, and that's why she hasn't popped in. That Lola,
yeah, I've got dogs that are tucked away right now, and I'm very fortunate, since my husband works from home, that he's wrangling the toddler right now.
Awesome. Jessie, I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.